way to earn a living, eh?
What a way indeed. Treasure Hunt has consistently been one of Channel 4's most popular programmes. But how does Annika Rice communicate with Kenneth Kendall and the studio-based contestants while jumping in and out of her helicopter and flying from clue to clue? Does she know where she's going? How are the locations chosen? And how is the show prepared and recorded?
Well, the first thing we do when choosing locations is we look at the map, and then we check out interesting historical, artistic, geographical points, and then having chosen that, a particular area, we then go and recce it. We've got to deal really in a 25-mile radius, because the helicopter can fly at roughly a mile a minute. So we can only really deal with a 25-mile radius. And then work out, within that radius, clues that are going to give a maximum of 6 minutes flying time in between, because we can't really have anything longer than 6 minutes. That's actually quite difficult sometimes, but it is surprising in this country how many interesting places there are. Then we go out on the recce, and we recce it out, sort out permissions, talk to the people involved, see whether they're happy to have us. And I mean, generally most people are. And we very, very rarely ever get turned down for a location. Very rarely. And we're usually thrilled to have us there. Then having done that, we then do a helicopter recce, which I do with Keith.
I get involved programme planning at a very early stage. This year we've been going since about January, February with potential ideas of each locations, looking at ordnance survey maps, deciding routes, landing sites, and if any sites have changed, then there's a very close link up. Is this going to be okay? Do you foresee any problems from my point of view? So at a very early stage we're involved.
On the shoot, which we do during August, everything has got to run really smoothly because we're doing one show every 2 days. So the planning for a series like Treasure Hunt is phenomenal. It takes about 5 months to plan 13 shows. And the essence of the success of it, getting through it without any accidents and making good shows, is really down to the planning.
The planning continues even on the day before recording. The location crew arrive at the base site, and the 2 helicopters used in recording the programme fly around the course checking the landing sites and communication system. Malcolm Hayworth takes the place of Annika Rice and checks out the route she should take tomorrow, if the contestants guide her correctly.
One of the very important things is to check out the timing. The other extremely important, perhaps the most important, is the safety aspects. Because I've got to be sure that there's nothing potentially dangerous that Annie could fall over into, onto, or Graham could break his leg, or some problem in that respect. I've got to be very, very sure that there's no obstacles or nothing that can be potentially dangerous that can hurt them.
I'm sorry, we got a bit delayed this morning, and as I say, we have these trams to sort out.
Malcolm meets the officials at each site and confirms the arrangements for tomorrow, also ensuring that they won't assist Annika unless she asks them for help. Frank Mayburgh and Graham Berry, who will be filming Annika, check their route for possible obstacles.
Now, this will be the route up, won't it, to the long gallery?
Yes.
So come up here. Oh dear, this is going to be a hard run up for you, Graham.
The communication link is checked for each site, and a test signal from the studio in London is fed by British Telecom landline to the van on location, where it's beamed up to the communication helicopter flying above the Skyrunner. Here, the signal is monitored and filtered.
I'm still getting a load of chaff in my ears.
And then beamed back down on a different frequency to the runner pack on Malcolm's chest. The voice of the runner to the studio is beamed along the reverse path in exactly the same way.
Ah, oh, Grace, I'm so sorry to be late. I must apologise.
A long journey.
Right, so Annie will come in here, identify the little boy as the Duke of Rutland, as he now is, and you will have a clue. Now, what we have to decide is where you're going to be. Now, where would you normally? Would it be with Mr. Webster, or perhaps with your gardener, or...
I think I'd better be with Mr. Webster.
Mr. Webster.
But where are they?
Where? That's the thing.
But I mean, I don't quite understand it.
She's going to come in here.
She runs in here by herself.
She runs in here by herself. She's got to identify, with the help of the contestants...
We're not here.
No, you're not here.
No.
Okay?
Yes.
Once she's identified who that is,
Yes.
then she will have to come and find you.
Yes.
Meanwhile, back at the hotel, a lonely figure sits on the terrace, catching up on her diary. It's the only member of the team not involved in the rehearsal, Annika Rice.
My only brief on rehearsals there is to stay completely out of everyone's way. In fact, during the whole treasure hunt shoot, I've become used to becoming a total recluse. I feel like a leper, actually. From the moment I get up until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't see any of the others, and I'm not allowed to try and look for them. Though I've got a vague idea of the area immediately around the hotel, I haven't made any effort at all to find out anything more about Derbyshire. I don't even have my map yet. That's given to me later on this evening. No clues at all, and as I said, it's almost nicer that I know nothing. The crew are very good at it. The first series, the tension was so awful whenever I walked into the room, because they were sure they were going to let something slip, and I'd walk into the room and it was and they went rigid, absolute rigid with fear that they'd let something loose.
No, she will take the clue off you and give you a kiss, and then she will read it out to the contestants who she's speaking to in the studio in London through her headphones here. Okay? And then she'll say thanks very much, and she'll be off.
I see. And we just have the one, I mean, nothing can go wrong anyway, is it?
No, not at all.
But of course it isn't live anyway, is it?
It's not live, no, but it's live in the sense that it's recording exactly the time, and what happens is what happens.
That's right.
Once all the participants are briefed, the crew travel to the next location.
Okay, Keith, we're going to take off in a moment.
Each of the runs back to the helicopter is timed and added to the flying time from clue to clue to make sure the total time for the course is possible for the contestants.
I reckon now, with the experience we've gained, that roughly 38, 39 minutes, me knowing exactly where the clues are, is the right length for the show, giving the contestants roughly 6 minutes to go wrong. And that's worked, because we've had, on the last series, we had, I think it was 5 out of 12 winners, 5 out of 12, which is a nice balance.
Meanwhile, 2,000 feet above the Skyrunner helicopter, the signal is still being monitored in the communication helicopter, and Jeff Newman stays in constant touch with air traffic control.
Helicopter Golf Sierra Papa Echo Yankee, the helicopter Golf Bravo Hotel X-ray uniform, 2 jet ranger helicopters operating on film ramp in the Matlock area up to 3,000 feet, Victor Mike Charlie.
At the location of another clue, a stately home open to the public, Malcolm is worried by the large numbers of people so near to the helicopter.
So often when you land helicopters, you get many people come out of the woodwork and have trees out of bushes. It's just amazing. And so you've got to be sure that there's maybe there's somebody around, who we can use on the day just to stand and make sure people don't come onto the landing position.
Just got to make sure that it is safe, because there's so many people around. We're going to hang on until Keith stops the rotors. Hey, that's good comms. That's lovely comms. Now, I tell you what, I think that the window, let me just ask this, just keep an eye on that tail rotor. Can you tell me where the violin is? Which side of the house is it? So that we can position...
It's on the east side.
It's this side here?
South side, on that side, but the entrance door is on the east side.
The entrance door is here, but it's facing that way.
That's right, yeah.
Right, Jeff, in comms, you're positioned brilliantly.
Once the rehearsal is finished, the crew return to the hotel to check the recording and discuss any problems encountered, particularly with communications.
I'm just getting a load of shash on this. Yes, I can hear you.
This word shash is so full of shash. It's very, very descriptive shash. The word shash explains exactly what it is.
That evening, Annika is allowed to rejoin the team for dinner, and while everyone is on their guard so as not to give anything away, the conversation inevitably returns to the subject of shash.
You were there, yeah.
So we're getting
I
on paper.
didn't have fried eggs on the line again. They were really bad.
Actually, Annie, there was Malcolm's invented a new word. This year, the in word for Hissel and Wassel on the Hissel and Wassel is shash.
Hissel and Wassel. I like Hissel and Wassel.
I think that Malcolm, as I said today, rubbish description. Very, very good description. What I'm getting.
So I say, what a load of shash on the line.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. There's a load of shash on the line. The market knows.
As Keith said, the best quote of the year is the sequence of Malcolmism, which was,
No, I hate
super comms, Nigel. Nigel.
Listen, I wind up some jokes apart. I think we had a very good rehearsal today. I think potentially we've got a super show tomorrow. So, good luck.
Great. Okay, what time are we starting tomorrow, Mel?
What time?
Hello, Annie, it's 11.
And comms at 12:30.
Hello, Nigel, can't hear you.